Why Filipino people's continued relative silence on major corruption scandals, including those involving flood control, is shaped by a mix of deep societal, political, and psychological factors: fear, fatigue, and distrust. Many Filipinos have grown disillusioned after decades of repeated corruption scandals with little consequence for those in power, creating a sense of resignation and learned helplessness, the belief that nothing will change even if they protest. Fear of retribution by political power holders is real, especially when whistleblowers and activists have previously faced harassment, lawsuits, or violence, discouraging open dissent. Socioeconomic hardships. Widespread poverty and economic insecurity mean most people are focused on daily survival and lack the time, energy, or resources to mobilize politically or protest government wrongdoing. Corruption scandals are frequently seen as distant issues, while survival remains the daily priority, especially for those hit hardest by disasters and poor infrastructure. Normalization and systemic impunity. Corruption has become so normalized, from local fixers to national pork barrel scams, that many see it as an unavoidable part of political life. The absence of lasting consequences for powerful politicians and contractors further entrenches public cynicism, as justice is rarely served and the corrupt often remain free or in office. Changing voices, social media, and new forms of protest. While street protests on corruption are rare now, Filipinos, especially the youth, have begun turning to social media, lifestyle policing, calling out the lavish lifestyles of politicians and their families as a novel form of protest. Online shaming and citizen reporting initiatives reflect both frustration and innovation in civic engagement, but these have not yet translated into widespread, sustained mass action. Overall, silence emerges not from acceptance, but from fatigue, fear, poverty, and a belief that speaking up is futile, even as new, subtler forms of protest begin to emerge online. Maybe money talks? It is a powerful explanation for why large-scale corruption persists and why many remain silent in the Philippines, especially regarding flood control scandals. Money shapes political outcomes, influences policy, and keeps the powerful insulated from accountability, often at the expense of ordinary citizens. How money drives silence and corruption. Politicians and contractors often use illicit wealth from infrastructure scams to finance election campaigns, buy political influence, and maintain power, creating a system where loyalty and protection are purchased and dissent is suppressed. Campaign donations from favored construction firms, including those involved in fraudulent flood projects, directly fund lawmakers who then shield sponsors from investigation and prosecution. Bribery, vote buying, and the normalization of kickbacks mean that individual interests often override public welfare, and communities may even accept handouts in exchange for silence or electoral support. Political and social influence. High-ranking officials have wide discretion over vast public funds, with fewer checks and balances, making large-scale corruption, grand corruption, possible and lucrative. Money's role in shaping bureaucratic decisions means rules and oversight are often weak. Those who profit from corruption can use financial clout to manipulate media, delay investigations, and discourage whistleblowing. The public, witnessing repeated cycles of power fueled by wealth, begins to see resistance as futile, another reason for ongoing silence. Culture and consequences. Philippine political culture is steeped in patronage, utang na loob, debt of gratitude, and hierarchical networks often connect communities, politicians, and contractors through cash and favors, reinforcing silence and complicity. With impunity for those at the top, grand scams like ghost flood control projects become not just scandals but the expected cost of business, as those with money set the terms. In short, the saying "money talks" perfectly captures how wealth and corruption intertwine to mute outrage, evade accountability, and perpetuate suffering in the Philippines.